Okay, we're rolling. We're
All
live.
right, let's do it. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the AI Executive Morning Buzz. This is your go-to live broadcast for all real-time AI insights, the latest industry trends, and executive level analysis without the hype. I'm your host, Albert Ramos, here with the CEO and founder of White Glove AI, Nick James. Nick, great to have you, sir. And our guest of honor, Jason Hess. So excited to have a conversation with you today, Jason. Good morning.
Morning, Albert. How you doing?
Doing excellent. So we have a pretty packed session in 30 minutes. We're going to get it all to you all as you're driving to work, sipping on your coffee, and hopefully getting your workout in. So here's what you can expect from today. We're going to go over 4 different things. Number one, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. Not the game, but actually a huge highlight around OpenAI. Then we're going to get into DeepSeek. If you saw our last roundtable, you probably heard quite a few things that got you scratching your head or maybe got you a little excited. So we have some more there. And then Google hitting the map hard over the last couple of the days. And we're going to be chatting about that. And if we have time, I know everyone wants to talk about Stargate. I might throw that in there. Who knows? But we got to start with the Super Bowl. I'm going to pass it over to Nick here in a sec. But what I want to say is I'm a big Chiefs fan. Mahomes with 2 interceptions, sacked 6 times. I think they got stopped for less than 50 running yards. It was tough. It was tough for us Chief fans, but congratulations to the Eagles fans. But here, that's not even the big news, right? That was a blowout of a game. I ate a lot, got a little bored, was a little bummed out. But the big one was OpenAI Super Bowl debut. Nick, did you have a chance to see it?
Of course, I saw everything. I think the thing I took away yesterday was the only worthy person on the Chiefs is worthy. So that guy was phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'd say that definitely sprinkled with a lot of AI commercials. And let's think about how much it costs per minute to run a commercial on the Super Bowl. There was actually a really nice chart. I don't know if you saw they showed on screen what it cost when the Super Bowl first started, how much it cost per minute for a commercial. I think it was like $67 a minute. And
Amazing.
Now it's $8 million, right? So let's say, OpenAI ran almost a 2-minute special there. And they spent reportedly $14 million. So, let's talk about, is that a wise choice of spending money? So, I mean, I think that this is the one venue, and I think Gary Vee said it really well, is like, this is the one venue where people actually look forward to watching commercials, and it's not an annoyance or a time for a bathroom break, right? So I would say that it was a wise choice, and I think the format in which OpenAI delivered their commercial is very easy to understand and really opened up AI to the masses. And I think they've just been really terrific about doing this anyway as a part of their go-to-market.
I don't know, Nick.
Yeah.
They really didn't do anything with AI. I don't think they even used AI to generate or to validate. Like, I would have at least wrote a couple of prompts to be able to say, hey, what is the world going to think of this commercial? Because I don't know, I fell flop for me. I didn't think it was a great commercial. And I think they probably could have done better.
Sure. I think that is the other point of view. I think the direction I'm coming from is that this is scary to a lot of people. And I think the message it was carrying is that every revolution, has sort of a catalytic technology that sparks that revolution, and that people should not be afraid of this technology. And I think that was the message it was trying to carry. And I don't think it has anything to do with AI other than, hey, you should go use it and don't be scared of it.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, they are trying to be the AI company, not an AI company. So for that part, yeah, they hit the mark there. But the dot matrix like printer, it didn't really sit well with me.
Yeah, I'm with you all. I think, well, the big thing that I notice is look, here's the deal. OpenAI, it's a grand slam. If you look at the records that were broken on viewership, right there alone, I mean, it was a huge ROI, right? You both know that I love speaking about ROI, and I think they had a great venue to get their name out there. We're in an AI race, and yes, it cost them 14 mil, but the eyeballs that were on that, I mean, they got exactly what they were looking for, right? Really excited about that. I got to be honest, I got a little emotional, and when I was watching the coach Jimmy Johnson before the game, and coach was actually looking at himself. He gave himself a football, and I know he's retiring now, but using AI avatar, Nick, and Jace, I'm with you all. I think the marketing side of things and ad spend and ads in general, that whole industry is getting shot. Hollywood, watch out. Look what you can do with some of this AI technology. And so I think this was a pretty big topic. I know there was a lot of buzz over the weekend. Again, not just the game and the stats, but this was a big one. And OpenAI is really getting aggressive with some of their spend and getting their name out there. So anything else, gents, before we move on to DeepSeek?
I think since you brought it up, I would say from a Hall of Fame standpoint, those folks were inducted into the Hall of Fame right after the game. I think the AI avatar play would be really, really sweet there to help kind of them live on beyond their lifespan and be, people 50, 100 years down the line from now could interact with these Hall of Famers and talk to them about their experiences, their memories. I think sports and AI avatars can go a really long way. But yeah, that's my two cents on it.
I love it. Well, let's switch.
Oh, go ahead. Is now pushing to the mainstream. It's going to allow people to really start becoming AI literate, because that's what's necessary. There's a lot of changing, but people need to be able to understand that AI is not scary, that you can interact with it and you can get value out of it. So it's great to have it in the mainstream conversation. I just wasn't a fan of the delivery, but I think it's a great topic to be talking about.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more stats on their subscriptions and what comes out of this. Again, a ton of eyeballs and a lot of spend. So we'll see what happens. All right. So a lot of people watching in right now, or as they watch the recorded version of this, saw our roundtable last week. A lot of good hits, right? We got a lot of love, a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter. It was a controversial topic, right? It was DeepSeek. That was hitting the news over the last couple of weeks right before Super Bowl, and looks like it's toned down a little bit, although we're starting to see more about DeepSeek being under scrutiny, right? So there's a lot of allegations out there. We hit on this quite a bit during the roundtable last week around using others' data to train their models, specifically OpenAI. Speaking of OpenAI, so DeepSeek using OpenAI's data, they're under the microscope. DeepSeek's in a lot of heat. So we'd love to hear from both of you gents on what's going on here. Let us know what's happening.
Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so what it looks like is OpenAI is suspecting that DeepSeek was pulling the data they were generating and extracting out of ChatGPT to train their model. And truthfully, this isn't a shocking revelation. This is something people have been running out of data to be able to train models on. So the next logical step is start training it on the outputs that are coming from all of these models. So I think this is where the industry is going to go, because as much new data is created, it's not enough to get it to that, superior augmented reality that people's are feeling is going to happen. So I think this is something that's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. And it's the only way to be able to start getting more new data to be able to train models.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about synthetic data and how we're running out of data sets to train on. But I think that this is just a consequence or a symptom of being closed source, right? I think the open source community has just grown so substantially, and it has proven its commercial viability, even though it's open source, because there's a lot of commercial tactics that are used in open source technologies whereby which the code base to a platform can be released fully openly out on the internet, typically on places like GitHub. but do still have commercial options for enterprise deployments. And so I think that this is a symptom of being closed source. And I think we're seeing open source players out there who are reportedly nation state funded. We can't confirm or deny that, that are using techniques like distillation to copy how closed source models reason through problems.
Yeah, it's a good point. And we chatted about this on the roundtable. We spoke of that phrase distillation, right? They're distilling the data. Now, you brought up a good word, and I think, we have a lot of technical people out there that understand synthetic versus how you train the model on our human data, right? What we offer it. Can you just quickly go over the difference between what we're normally giving the model? And I think there was a study out there where by the year 2030, we're running out of what we can train the model on. We're going to start having to use some of the synthetic data to come up with different ways to train the model. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Nick and Jason, but if you can kind of land that plane for me. I know a lot of people out there want to understand, where is this going? What does that mean?
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of where we're at the tipping point. Is the data that's being generated out of OpenAI or Claude, is that part of their intellectual property, or is that, and does that need to be copyrighted, or is that something that anyone can grab and be able to take it and train their own model? So I think that's going to be great to watch how this lawsuit takes shape, to see, is there going to be new guidance and direction on what the definition of the intellectual property of these model outputs?
Yeah, so synthetic data it's fake. It's made up. From a cybersecurity standpoint, answering in that way, we never want to test on production data or on production systems, right? When we are building applications, or application teams are building applications, it's always wise to use test data or fake data so that we can avoid any sort of mistakes. There can be mistakes made on perhaps leakage of the data. So we're really devaluing the data set itself, so that we have nothing to worry about. Now, from a model training standpoint, I'd say that synthetic data gives us the opportunity to produce data that wasn't created by humans, but rather by machines. And I think there's a huge play out there on the creation of synthetic data. But now this begs the question is, will future models' responses or their completions be based on reality, right? Because if these models are being trained on synthetic data sets that aren't representative of the real world, are we going to get real world answers? So that's something that's left unanswered for now.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, that was Nick. You're foreshadowing a potential podcast episode that we're currently filming about that. I had a great time with you all over at the Dallas meetup. Big shout outs to them and Carson and team. But one of the guests that they had there, I had a conversation just about that synthetic data and what we're training the model on, and is it even reality? And we got deep. So I'll leave it for the podcast. I'm excited about that. I want to switch gears here. Topic 3 of Google. I saw a lot of Meta during the Super Bowl ads. I actually enjoyed their commercial. Yeah. And then obviously OpenAI, and then DeepSeek's been in big talks. But I'm trying to figure out where Google's at. But here they come and just start spending. Speaking of cash, we get the DeepSeek of, hey, we do things at $5-6 mil, which I don't think is true. And then on the flip end, it's like, hey, let's go spend more money. And here comes OpenAI with their ad, and then Google with their huge investment. Jason, I know you've been tracking this pretty closely. Google spending a ton on AI and what they're doing there specific to their models. You want to touch on that a little bit and just share what's going on?
Yeah. So last week, Google announced 4 new models that are solving different problem sets, and it's all under the banner of Gemini 2.0. And they've got Flash, Flashlight, Flash Pro, Experimental, and these are very powerful, bringing a lot of good quality to that. But the market did not react kindly to them. I think
Right.
they took a 5 or 6 point hit because I think the DeepSeek effect. People are seeing that, spending billions on training data may not be the most efficient way. So they're going to have to find new ways to do that. But there's a lot of quality models that they just released, and being able to test those out and getting some good quality results from it so far.
Yeah, I think that Google, the irony here is that in 2017, their researchers are the ones who released the paper that started all of this. It was called Attention is All You Need, right? And that was the basis for transformer models. So to see them sort of, I don't want to call them laggards. I just feel like perhaps that there are indications of behaviors from, I would say both Google and Anthropic are playing this really safely. And I think that may be mistaken as a lack of, keeping up pace with the Joneses. And when I say the Joneses, I mean like OpenAI, right? So I think their apprehension can be perceived without, actually validating this as a means to do this more safely and more responsibly. And that may actually being mistaken as like them just being slow to getting off the start line. What do you think about that, Jason?
I think you're absolutely right. I think they're playing more of the enterprise play, and enterprises want to make sure that it's secure. They're not focused on the new bells and whistles. They want to make sure that their data is secure, the outputs are correct. So I think, it's great to see 20 years of Google growing up, because probably in the early 2000s, Google would have been the OpenAI and just let's push out as many new products as possible. Now they're much more mature company, and they're taking the more thoughtful approach and making sure they're focusing on safety, security, and governance. So it's great to see.
It is. I think excuse me. I'm sorry. I think that there's a lot to be said for the dominance of open source, and I'm going to call it now as a prediction. And I think that there's going to be a major closed source provider right now, I don't know which one, who will in the next year release an open source model, because they have no choice but to jump on the bandwagon. And they realize that the communal support that comes along with being a part of the open source community, which in exchange you are releasing company proprietary data, right? And libraries and things like that. I think you'll find that the communal support and how much faster you can grow when you have a community surrounding you who are there to tinker and help you improve the thing that you released, they'll find that far outweighs the cost of releasing the proprietary data.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And I think, I want to switch gears here in a little bit, because this is really good. This is really meaty, and I'd love to engage the audience. And if you all, for those that are listening now or in the future, if you could jump in the comments, or feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. This next topic actually came in from a direct message on LinkedIn, a DM from LinkedIn, but I'd love to see it in the comments, right? To your point, Nick, which one of these organizations, these enterprises that are currently closed source, are going to jump into the open source? It's interesting. I got my feelings about that. We chatted about that during our roundtable, but I'm curious, Google or what's Meta up to? Apple, are they flying under the radar as well? Microsoft, another big player who is spending a ton of cash on investments and features, and now agents, rolling that out recently with Mustafa Soliman as their CEO of AI, or CAIO. And I'm so interested about that. Google, last year I think they spent $52 billion. This investment was 75. Nick, I think I heard you say it the other day. Look, they're just playing chess. They're flying under the radar. They have great infrastructure. They're just playing chess. This is not a checkers game. They don't need to be out in front and be the the what we would call in football just doing the hoorah stuff, right? Like they're slowly, steadily going to be winning market share, investing some money.
And I think the ones getting the most attention have something to prove, right?
Right. Good point.
Yeah, and they have to. I don't want to say beat their chests in a bad way, but they need to show that. Yeah, Watson X. Let's talk about that in a second. Good one, Jay. I think that they have something to prove, and they got to show that they can keep up, right? And now that they're out there and they've communicated this message, they have to constantly develop and keep pace with the reputation that they're trying to purport. But yeah, Watson X is outstanding, by the way. They're actually a partner of White Glove AI, and I think the whole set of Granite models, they've already adopted DeepSeek. They are another silent player. I shouldn't say silent in a bad way. Once again, it's more about they are, like you said, Albert, on that enterprise route, and I personally think that they have the best governance ecosystem amongst all the hyperscalers when it comes to enterprise AI adoption.
Yeah. Well, switching gears, and I see some
Apple, and that was another one that was, they are under the radar, but talk about terrible commercials. When Apple was rolling out the AI intelligence commercials, I mean, they were targeting people that were slackers and not really high performers, and use my Apple Intelligence, and now you can be a high performer. I was like, I think you're missing the mark here of what AI is.
If we know anything about Steve Jobs, he's created the AI hologram. He's going to come back. He's going to take over this thing, and he's not even alive. I don't know what's going on over there. I used to be a huge Apple fan. I know you gents hate when you get the green text from me. I got the Samsung Flip, right? I'm all over Google. I don't know what's going on with Apple. I hope they figure it out. They got the cash, clearly. I mean, everyone's spending money. They have the cash. So we'll see what they do. But Marlon, Jace, thanks for pointing that out. Sorry for missing that. Marlon, thanks for jumping in the comments there. All right, so we had and someone who's in the audience as well, DM us about Stargate. We touched on this a little bit, and I know we only have about 8 minutes of your all's time as you all get started and ready for work, but I'd love to hit on this really quickly. 500 bill, right? We all know this. The administration, as well as a lot of the heavy players in the tech industry, have all committed to spending a ton and building out the AI infrastructure. I think one of the first data centers is coming from a place called Abilene, Texas. So for all you Texas homegrowns out there, there you go, right? The money's coming here. So that's exciting. The big thing that our guest was asking, or our one of our members in the audience was asking, was just around sustainability and powering this up. Like, what does that look like, right? I think it was 360 plus megawatts. They're going to be building a ton of homes. So there's obviously an environmental impact. We got to think power, natural gas, chips, right? Data center square footage, right? There's a ton that goes into this. Yes, it brings a ton of to Abilene in this case, or whatever city's next, but there's also a huge impact there. So let's touch on that a little bit, because I think we need to start thinking about that too, as this is going to become a thing, right? It's coming to a town near you. Jason, what are your thoughts on this whole Stargate and the impact?
No, I think it's huge. I was actually out in Fort Worth yesterday at a energy and banking conference or roundtable, and there were some big players in the oil and gas space that feel that this is a great opportunity for oil and gas. They actually had a moderator who does Bitcoin mining, and what they're doing is any wells that end up having natural gas, and they would just light those, and you see all of those lit up in the Midlands, and they're actually harnessing that natural gas because there's no pipeline to put it in, and they're building Bitcoin mining data centers out there and taking advantage of this gas that they would just light and burn off. So I think this is the same play for Abilene, is being able to connect to some of these open gas or natural gas wells where they can get, not free because they're still paying for it, but they're not having significant impact to the power grid to be able to provide the power that's necessary to build out all these AI data centers.
I think, was that BitGas, by the way, Jason?
Yes, it was.
Was it Nick?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was one of his colleagues.
Nick's one of the founders of BitGas. Great guy.
Great. Big shout out.
I think that edge compute is really gonna take storm. And I think when I say edge compute, I mean being able to run the models locally. So you saw when NVIDIA released digits, there are already people on YouTube deploying like really small parameter models on Raspberry Pis. Raspberry Pi, for those who don't know, are this little tiny little computer, runs on 5 volts of USB power. And I think that edge compute is going to help offset a lot of that. And there's going to be a lot of reasons for edge computing and running models locally without having to rely on these large data centers. I think these large data centers may not have the utilization that they think they're going to have as fast as they're going to have it. But I think, they will get utilized over time. But I think that there's going to be an interplay with edge computing and running models at the edge, which, as we all know, is like far more secure than.
Sure. Well, hey, I let her know I'd give her a shout out. That was a question and topic choice from Robin Strack. So for all you, those in the audience, go follow her. She's obviously all over and watching and following AI. So Robin, thanks so much for that topic and question, and we appreciate you jumping on. So look, here's the deal. By the way, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Jason, for the amazing conversation. We want to make sure that we're bringing the latest and the greatest without the hype. And so if you're a CEO out there or investor, an influencer, a decision maker in your organization, or any type of AI professional, we want to get you involved, right? We want to help you out and support you, but also engage in this conversation like Robin did, and Marlon and Jay and Doc. Donnie there, please jump in, right? We want to hear what your thoughts are, or maybe just bring up a topic of conversation so we can chat about it and cut through the noise, right? What we also have on our thumbnail and cover picture there for this event, and you'll see it on our website as well, is we have a QR code, and we'd love for you all to join us. Scan the QR code, and what we're doing for those that are listening in, that are here today, or listening to the recording after this, we're actually offering a 14-day chatbot trial, right? So if you're not sure what step to take or what to do when it comes to AI, we want to provide you a tool that you can start using if you're qualified, right? And if you're a decision maker. We don't want anyone just putting anything on their website, right? We want to make sure that you're the decision maker and actually approve that. We're going to get you going with a chatbot, and we're excited to walk you through, once you scan that code, walk you through what that will look like to provide a great experience for your customers, your members, and even your team members. Within that link, what you'll also find is we have a newsletter, right? So if you're excited like me to listen in, great. You have the AI Executive Podcast, Daily Show, and After Hours. But if you like to read and you want to read some of the things that we're chatting about in a little bit more depth, we also have a newsletter. So go on to that QR code, scan it. You have exclusive insights, and we'll walk you through how you can empower your team using AI and start adopting it. Speaking of adopting, the last thing I want to talk about, and I know we're running out of time here, is the AI Launchpad Workshop. And so we're really excited about that. What we do at White Glove AI is we actually educate. We come into your enterprise or your small to medium-sized business. We come in there, we educate your team, we teach you how to use AI. We find the pain points, we look at where the problems are that we need to enhance, and we actually integrate AI with our suite of services. We have some amazing virtual CAIOs that are liaisons, your White Glove hospitality liaisons that will allow you to integrate this the right way. So I know I said a lot there. We're going to give you a chatbot. Jump in, scan the code, get on our newsletter so you're not missing anything. Make sure to watch these videos and jump on live because we want to engage with you. And finally, let's lift up the hood together. Allow us to jump in so we could actually help you adopt AI, teach your team, and integrate it in. Before I close this off, Nick, Jason, we got about 60 seconds. Anything you all want to add?
Jason?
No, I appreciate it. This is a great conversation. Really enjoy it. There's a lot of good comments in here. Looks like topics to add to future conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll just say, please don't be afraid to tinker. If you ever, we may even do future sessions where we have our AI engineers here at White Glove AI run just sessions where you're deploying agents. There's so many cool things out there. I want you to lower your fear barrier and get out there and start just playing. It's very cheap, if not free, to play. So please get out there and play. And if you get really curious and interested about doing this full scale at your business, we're here to help you. We are your trusted AI adoption partner here at White Glove AI. Thank you, Albert.
I love it. Well, that's it for today's AI Executive Morning Buzz. Big thanks to Nick James, our CEO and founder of White Glove AI. Our special guest, Jason Hess, always bringing it. Thank you, gents, for joining us and sharing your insights. Like Nick, y'all, stay curious, stay innovative, and we'll see you every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Central. Have a great day. Go crush it.
Go crush it.
Thanks so much.
Bye.